Looking at this old York condenser downtown. It keeps tripping out, and we're trying to identify as to why, but it literally just turned on. It's loading up. It's running an outside air unit. I was having issues. I've had a variety of repairs. Ooh. Had a variety of repairs I've had to do on this system. I've had some leaks at the unloaders, had to replace the unloader. Pressure switches have failed, had to replace those. We've had TXV issues, we've had to rebuild those. I mean, it's been a lot of consecutive problems. As we fix things, things break. So anyway, it didn't run for very long before it just shut back off, and I'm not sure why. Thinking maybe it'll turn back on. We'll see. Let's check Y there, see if we still have input. Or if the controls. So these are running, I've got a Honeywell, I forget the series name, but those Honeywell standalone controllers in there. That's what's on the that's what's running this whole system. So let's go Y1. Yeah, okay, the Honeywell killed signal. These do have pump down solenoids. So pump down solenoid obviously pumps down and kills our signal. So, oh wait, what am I doing? That said 0 between Y1 and R. That meant we have voltage. Yeah, so we got call in there. Yeah, we have all 3 stages calling, but yet we shut back down. One of the things I want to point out, this is actually the exact reason why I chose the Testo probes over Philpiece. Philpiece has now, since then, come out with a bigger clamp, but at the time it did not exist, and so this was the best option. Now you'll notice I have this on the bottom of the pipe because I don't want that infrared from the sun affecting my readings. So I'm getting it in the shade so that, you know, that UV doesn't mess me up. Anyway, that's also why my liquid line I'm taking in here in the shade instead of out here where it's in the sun. So we're about to start back up. I'm going to pay a little more attention to my readings this time. This has been converted to 407C, so just keep that in mind as we go. Oh yeah, so we got our head pressure is a little high. We got one fan not coming on. Let's see, yeah, we've got 370. Alright, so it's shut down to about 375. That sounds about right. Let me see if I can read. The pressure setting on there is basically, so we're reading the pressure at the liquid line after we've gone through the coil. The trip point on the pressure switch was 425 plus minus 15. Well, by the time you factor in the coil pressure drop, we're right there at that trip point. The call has been, the tech has been working on this for a couple of trips now. He every time we show up, we reset it, it runs fine, no issues, yada yada yada. He gets here this time, now that fan won't turn on. Well, it was running last time every time he got here. So we're gonna check this fan. What that tells me though is that fan, if it has failed, was very likely on its way out. It's either the fan or maybe the control relay in here, capacitor. It could be something there. Regardless, if it is the fan, then that fan was probably overheating and it would work when he was here, but because it was in the process of failing, it just hadn't failed yet, which would mean, you know, maybe we just replaced the fan, and that's why it was an intermittent issue, is because it hadn't just bit the dust yet. Yes, so it stages fans off of those temps. So as the outside air temp drops, it kills fans. So those sorry, go ahead.
I think we should bypass it and see how it would react, just in case it's not that, because that fan motor looks like it's just been replaced not too long ago.
We can just test it, kill the disconnect. And then what we'll do is
need 2 mils.
We need to which one we dealing with here? So it's this green, white, and yellow coming off of this black.
That's right here.
This green, white, black coming off. Is it that one? Yeah, so let's just test continuity across that. It should be closed. And we are reading 0 ohms. Okay, so it is closed. So that's not the problem. We can check the capacitor. See if that's our issue. Being the fact we don't have blown fuses, I'm going to assume it's probably not a short. Alright, let's go to microfarads. See what that capacitor be doing. Do 1477. Yeah, that tests good. Okay. I guess so before we put it back, let's go ahead and test winding to winding. So we should need this white, green, and black. It's just ohm between them. So between black and white should be our lowest reading. Then black to green should be the second reading, and then green to white should be our highest, since this is single phase. Open winding. So it says 1.3, 1.4 million ohms. That ain't no good. Negative, Ghost Rider. So what I want to check now is, let's get that fan shroud pulled.
Yeah.
So we can close that. Bearings feel tight.
It's been off.
Motor's cold. Well, it's not. Well, it's been sitting in the sun, but it ain't hot. So if that motor was super hot, I'd say we need to let it cool down, but that ain't the problem. All right, so we need to get to that electrical right there.
Take off good?
Yeah, let's see if that fan will come off. Okay, so we got that off. Whew. That don't look good. Yeah, no, that's open wind. Check the other. Yeah. She toast. That's all she wrote.
What was it reading? I didn't see it.
So it was reading 8 million.
Okay.
So it ought to be more like, 20 ohms. Anyway, to summarize, we've had a ton of repairs on this unit. We came out twice before, had to reset it, checked it, everything was working fine. The very first time we came out, it did have a really dirty condenser, and he got that condenser cleaned real good, and it was still giving him trouble. I mean, so on the last call we received earlier this week, I said, okay, why don't we just go over there together? I've been working on this unit for some time myself, and just been super busy elsewhere. Anyway, that motor not coming on and being down like that, it's been slowly overheating, and so every time it cooled down, once he got here, it would have already reset the thermal limit, even though it was already on the edge. So it just so happened when I came this time that it actually had a complete open winding. So what he was dealing with prior was just fact at this point. So if it hadn't have done that, I mean, we may have been here for quite some time trying to chase it around and see just what the heck was actually the problem. And it's hard to catch stuff like that, when you got those motors that just kind of randomly, when they're having those intermittent failures because the winding is weak, it's not easy to catch. What we could have done is we probably could have megged it, but reality, it's not common practice to meg, these types of motors for just any reason. It's just, like I said, it's just not what we do. Not unless we have a very specific reason to. So it's not a go-to. Anyway, I'm gonna quit talking. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm gonna close this one out. MTT, make the time for your family. Take care of your spouses. Take care of your kids. Stay safe in the summer heat. We'll see you on the next one.